There's a moment in every artist's life when the dream stops being a dream and becomes a direction. For some of us, it starts in a high school classroom taking German because we know we'll get there someday. For others, it starts in a tiny mountain village in northern Spain. No record stores, no music shops, no entertainment. Just a kid staring at the horizon and imagining the United States. Today's guest made that leap. Bull Diego Avello, Gibson international artist, filmmaker, rock and roll nomad, grew up in a graduating class of 35. His first gig was in his uncle's basement. His second, the entire town showed up. 200 people. We talk about that magic. We talk about manifesting your life. We talk about Mexico, film festivals, the Beach Boys with Jerry Lewis opening at age 15, and how music circles and film circles collide in the strangest, most beautiful ways. And somewhere in the middle of all that, we riff on the early seeds of the Nashville Legacy Project, Gibson, Stephanie Urbina Jones, and the cultural bridge we're building brick by brick. This is Bull Diego Avello. This is Green Chili Chisme. And this is what happens when two dreamers compare notes on how they made the impossible happen. Let's get to it.
Cali chick from all the cannons, a whiskey swiller, gonna smoke you out. I ain't never, ever, ever seen such a girl like that.
Diego,
You doing, brother?
how you doing, my friend?
Can't complain, can't complain. Monday and new month.
There you go. Let me make sure everything is recording here. I think everything is already on. Everything's already on. Yeah, new system here. I'm running it through the OBS. I don't know if you know these programs, but so I'm kind of recording for the first time our conversation.
Okay.
Video wise, I mean, I was always recording audio, but so this is new to me. It's cool, but everything seems to be working fine.
That's good.
How you doing, man? It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you, sir. But can't complain. Back in the US, I was 2 weeks in Spain. I'm still decompressing.
Spain. I went there, God, in the '80s. Our family originates from there, way back in the way back days. In fact, the Pedraza name, the first surgeon of the New World is my ninth grade grandfather, Diego Pedraza,
Oh, okay.
from Spain. I don't even know if Spain knows that, but yeah, or they recognize it. In fact, the hospital that they built, it was the first hospital in the New World, and it's still there in the middle of Mexico City. It's the Hospital of Jesus.
Yeah, probably they recognize. I mean, there's a lot of history in Spain about the Spaniard moving to the New World.
Right. So anyway, that's a whole nother project that I'm working on a documentary on the family for 2028, I think.
Well, that's badass.
And that's a whole nother thing that we're doing. Before we even get started, man, did you get a chance to look at that sheet?
The what? Yeah. I was taking a look, and we can talk deep about it. I mean, I definitely can connect you with the Gibson Garage and all the people and all the marketing. I think they will like the project. I don't know if sometimes they allowed to do for free the events. Sometimes they charge for the room.
Either way, that's fine. Because just the profile of that place would be elevated so much, and then the relationship between Gary and Gibson, Gary Moore and Gibson Guitar is that's like one of their top legendary guys.
Absolutely, and I was doing my private screening there, and also I was playing there, so I have a great relationship, and I'm sponsored by them, so I have a great relationship with them. They are part of the documentary, so I definitely can do all the connections and putting all people together. And sometimes they charge for these kind of events, and sometimes they don't.
That's cool. Either way, with the concert, that you see, it's about the concert, about the Mavericks concert that we have.
Hmm.
That's unreleased. It's never been seen except for maybe two videos that I pulled for the show that we filmed it for.
Okay.
So it's, and so what made me key on that was I was on my YouTube page, and that video alone has like 175,000 hits. Um,
Wow. And also there in the Gibson showroom they have a projector, so and a huge screen where I play when I play my documentary. So that could be a good idea too.
man, see, that's and the only other person that I wanted to get involved is actually a guest that I have coming up next week, who I met, God, in 2013 maybe at a Judas Priest show. Check this out.
Oh.
So I was center stage, second row, Judas Priest. This girl behind me, gorgeous, tatted up the wazoo, was right behind me. And of course,
Hmm.
I was writing for the Examiner at that time, so I was like kind of doing a job, but I was off watching Judas Priest. And so I hit up this chick, say, "Hey, I'm writing with paper, you can take a picture." Anyways, we became friends. So it ends
Oh.
up her name is Brittany Elliott, and she was like one of the finalists in the season 2 of Inked with Dave Navarro.
Oh.
And
Where is he located?
she's in Dallas, no, or in San Antonio, one of the two. Um,
Okay. You are in Arizona, right?
I'm in New Mexico.
New Mexico. Sorry, New Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. And so she has a side gig where she does these amazing, amazing tables that are rock stars, a Kiss table or a Judas Priest table, Saxon table, whatever. She can make whatever. They're pretty cool. So I was thinking of her as the only other person, number one, because she's a personality. She's pretty well known in that world, and have her bring her stuff as well as run our merch table. When this is all future thinking, of course. But it's I'm talking to her next week, so I'm gonna bring it up to her to see if she would be interested, and then she can donate one, make two tables for this project alone, and we'll raffle one off. You know,
Hmm.
and keep one for the company and raffle one off for
I think it's a great idea, and I think Gibson is really the best place to do it. Actually, I did my showcase there and the showcase of the documentary. We have a full house, and it was high-profile people there, like George Thorogood manager, a lot of people in the music industry, ASCAP director. So everybody's in Nashville right now, and Gibson
yeah,
is a hot spot. And
hot
they
spot.
have all the equipment. They have a stage, microphones, a huge projector, tables, chairs, bar, everything.
Yep. And then my good buddy, country artist Stephanie Urbina Jones. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's a Latina mariachi that was the first to bring it to Grand Ole Opry. She's a Grand Ole Opry star.
Oh,
So
that's badass.
she will be our host. So she's really known in Nashville. She's really known at the Opry, of course.
What
Uh,
is her name?
Stephanie Urbina Jones.
Oh, it sounds very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, she lives in Mexico, and she lives in Nashville, and she lives in Texas. So
Hmm.
she's gonna be part of my documentary also in the future. Anyways, we're gonna get
It's
there,
unbelievable and good for her. She deserves it.
man. And her story. If you listen to any of the podcasts of ours, start with hers, because it is. She made me cry, dude. She made me cry on my own damn show. You know what I mean? Telling her story, because it was a lot like my story growing up, but hers was way more emotional. Anyways, we will discuss the project further. I think it's a great idea. The guys are on board. Two of the three. I haven't told Jack yet. He's coming on the show. So I'll talk about it with him. And he just posted something about he's in the studio with a couple of heavy cats who were his dad's friends, and getting ready to release something coming out. So he's thinking about his dad. You know what I mean? And this would be perfect to honor him. And bring him to Nashville, and then Gibson would. I bet you Gibson would flip, dude. That would be a pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they will love it.
That's a pretty cool little thing. And plus, they may even match our foundation. If we're gonna give them $1,000 for the foundation, they may even match it. Who knows?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You never know. They have a non-profit company, Gibson Gives, and everything. So it's a matter to talk deeper with them.
yep. So I will kind of leave that to you and see what you feel out with them and talk to your people and see what they think
Yeah,
and
I can send an email with the manager and the event manager and the whole. I mean, I know the whole team. I know even the
yeah.
president. But, and I put you in the email and copy, and you take him from there. You will explain the project way better than me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think hopefully they read pretty well. It's kind of it read pretty well, I think, the way I kind of framed it. I had all that time to think about it and word it all out
Yeah,
to describe what it is, and we're not.
yeah. The speed that you sent me is pretty good, so I can send it to her, and we can put all this together, and I can be your anchor here.
You're awesome, dude. And executive producer, bro. And once that you're ready, let's get on with this. Thank you for coming on Green Chili Chisme. And I'm not sure if you actually even know how we started. I usually tell people this at the beginning. Um, the name came first. I have a night job, and I was doing it, and the name popped into my head. And let me unplug this real quick. And um, I didn't know what it was. And so, like a week later, a good friend of our company, Flaco Jimenez, I'm not sure if you're familiar with who he is.
Oh
Flaco,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, he passed away, and he's like super close to our company. Our co-founder of our company was Michael Guerra, who was a member of the Texas Tornadoes for a bit, and then he joined the Mavericks. He was a member of the Mavericks for a long time, which is also our connection to Raul. Super close to Raul, when Michael met Raul, we were all met together, and it was the first time we all met, and so that's how close we are with that. Anyways, and so it's came out to be like a legacy podcast, something to I could have talked to Flaco and got his story, man. Raul, the same thing. I could have. I don't want to get emotional, but talk to him one last time. Anyways, so this is what this is
Yeah.
about. And talking about you and how you got to where you are. And the way that we started is tell me about your parents and the house you grew up in and the city that you grew up in.
Well, I didn't grow up in a city. I grew up in a very small town.
Right.
It's a mountain town north of Spain called Cangas de Narcea. It's a minor town. So well, my father my father was a banker, and my grandfather worked in court. And my side, from my mom's side, was totally the opposite. They were farmers and ranchers. So I grew up in those walls, like hard working and humbleness, and then for the people that work in the field, like blue collar people, like farmers and ranchers.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my father's line, it was more like white collar people, like working in banks and jury. So I think I have a lot of input for both sides. And my town is a small town in the middle of the mountains, so we
Mm.
didn't have any record store, we didn't have any guitar store or other rock bands or guitar players. But I knew I liked rock and roll music, so it was very difficult to start a rock band in that situation. But we found a way to do it, and so that's who I am. I'm a Asturian from Cangas de Narcea, and that's the story of my documentary.
So, were you live in the States now, or are you still going back and forth?
No, no, I live in the States since 2015. I
2015.
got a artist visa in 2015,
Ah,
and
okay.
then I moved. I moved to Austin, Texas, where I was living 9 years, and then 1 year in LA, and now 1 year in Nashville, Tennessee. But I'm a permanent resident right now. I have a green card, and I'm a permanent resident in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, with the cooking wise and that upbringing that you had, do you cook at all? Do you bring any of that with you? And
I got to sound arrogant right now. I'm a great chef.
I am too, actually.
I I cook a lot constantly, like 3 meals a day, and I cook for a lot of people. And sometimes even I pay my rent cooking in the way that people ask me for. when I ask favors or whatever, I always return the cooking from them. Always Spanish food like paellas,
Oh,
fabadas, like a Spanish food. But I love cooking, and yeah, I'm cooking all the time.
I was just gonna say, yeah, the paella.
Yeah.
I miss that food.
I made a lot of paellas. Paellas saved my life in the United States.
Man,
And I
when
pay a lot of favors cooking paella for friends.
that when I lived in Germany in the military for almost 10 years over two periods of time, and I used to cook Mexican food for my German friends, and they absolutely loved it. They absolutely were just, and a lot of that Spanish food, it's the
Yeah.
rice, and my go-to is like arroz con pollo, that thing
Hmm.
is, and they just absolutely flip over it. Anyways, um,
Yeah.
so growing up, you went to school in that small town as well. How long did you go to school there?
Well, I finished the school and then I went to high school
Mm-hmm.
in my town too. So high school was when I started my rock band. Uh,
Mm.
I had a Little Richard cassette, and I
Oh,
loved
shoot.
50s American rock and roll, especially Little Richard. I was obsessed with Little Richard, the
Yeah.
Guitarist, Smalley, Lucille, and then that led me to Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, Jim Vincent, and of course Elvis Presley.
Elvis
First
Presley.
time that I saw it was a comeback special '68, Elvis Presley. I knew immediately I want to be a rock and roll singer. Elvis, he is a huge influence on me. So with other guys from the high school, we create a rock and roll band in that town, which was very difficult. We have to take a bus 3 hours from our small town to the main city to buy the instruments
Wow.
and a couple of books to how to learn to play guitar.
Right.
And then I finished high school. And once you finish high school in your town, there are not too many options. It's like working in the fields, working in the mines, maybe open a bar, a small business. But most of the people, they have to move to the main city, which is what I did. I
Right.
moved when I was 18 years old to the main city of Asturias, the capital of Asturias, my home state, called Oviedo.
Sure. A studio. How big was your high school class?
We were like 35 people in the class, and there was like
Wow.
maybe it was another the first course. There were other three classes like mine, like
Wow.
first A, first B, first C, with 35 people and 40 people maximum in every class.
Wow. I think my high school graduating was like in the 300s. In the
Wow, yeah,
300s.
this is a small town. This is a small
Yeah.
town.
I
Means
mean,
probably there were 300 in the whole high school, maybe less. With
wow.
the first grade, second
Right.
grade, third grade, and those days they called co the fourth grade. So the with three classes for grade, I guess. So yeah, maybe we were around 300, but in my class we were only 30, 35.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's small. So you picked up guitar, and who's the first guy you hooked up with? A bass player, a drummer, or another guitar player? Who did you start sharing your gift with, your passion?
Well, they were my best friends in the high school, but they
Mm,
weren't drummer or bass player. They weren't. We didn't have musicians in town.
right.
There's no. We knew we liked rock and roll. I never grabbed a guitar. He never grabbed a bass or the
That's
drum. So we got
crazy.
together and said something crazy like, "Hey, what about if we create a rock and roll band? I will be the singer. You will be the bass player." And another guy say, "I want to be the drummer," and another guy say, "I want to be the guitar player." So basically, we all start together at the same time.
Wow.
We didn't know anything, literally nothing about an instrument. We were working during 6 months to buy instruments, and then we moved to the main city. No, we didn't move to. We went to the main city to a guitar store, and we bought a small drum kit, a bass, and two guitars. And we literally
Wow.
started like that. But the first
Wow.
month was very discouraging because nobody knew how to play. So
Golly.
it was crazy, but we found the way. I think when the passion is strong,
Yeah.
and then we visualize and we want it so hard, and we work it so hard that finally we made it. And
Yeah.
1 year and a half later, we were playing live.
That's crazy. I mean, it's totally doable when you want to do it. When I was in Germany, when I left Germany the first time, I went to Indiana for a training to retrain. and they had a rec center there, and nobody was ever there, and they had a room, a silence room with a drum set in there. And I always was the air drummer, I always was the air drummer. So I was like, took my Bad Company little cassette player and went in there and learned how to play drums. That's how I learned how to play drums. It's off of Bad Company. And
When you want to do it, you find a way.
yeah, I mean now I can play a lot of stuff. Some light rush to Maiden to Judas Priest. I can play. I'm a metal guy. To Doug Sahm, I can play some of that light country stuff too. So and then the same thing with guitar, where I learned to play guitar. I've only been playing for like 5 years maybe, and self-taught, and I'm just now getting to the point where I can close my eyes and play notes. Play and playing all these songs that I grew up with. So you've been playing for so long. I'm learning now, so I like the one I'm ripping on now is a Judas Priest from the '70s called Dreamer Deceiver, and God, I play rhythm guitar, and just playing against those cats, and it almost brings you to tears. And some songs I do come to tears. It's like all these songs that I've loved for 30, 40 years, I'm actually playing now, and that's just and it's like I know all the breaks, all the licks. I know all the. I just didn't know how to play guitar, and I didn't know the notes. And now I can look and read the notes. Okay, this is where you hit the E minor, the A, the D, the G. Okay, the F sharp. This, and now I know where the licks are because I've been listening to the song for 40 years. So crazy, dude.
That's the way.
And so I'm still learning, and I make these crazy posts about playing something like simple, but to me it's like this is all new magic to me. What is this new magic that I possess?
Music is magic.
It is, man. That Rush song, what is new magic? Anyways, so you said Little Richard is one of your early influences. Who was the first cats that you saw live that you knew like oh man, this is what I want to do for sure. This is it.
When I was 15 years old, I saw the Beach Boys in Oviedo, the capital, and also Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was the opening act, and then the Beach Boys. And
Wow.
I really like it. And that's you can't be more American than those two.
Holy
And
cow.
so I love the show, and I knew I wanted. And then I have some local heroes too, that the Spanish rock and rollers. But I think that the very first big gig that I saw it was Beach Boys and and Jerry Lee Lewis. And I think 1 year later, I have to. I couldn't drive because I was underage.
Mm-hmm.
So I talking with my father that he can drive me to the next state. And the next state, the Chuck Berry Bob Dylan they were playing. So I watched them too. So in a very early, I got very hooked with American 50s rock and roll.
Wow. Was that like I know when I was in Germany, a lot of the young people that's what they wanted to do is go to the States, go to the States, go to the States. Was it like that
Yes.
in Spain growing up?
Yeah, that not the rest of my friend. I was very sure that I want to live in the United States. And there is part of my documentary that I pictured when I went to the high school with 17 years old. I was wearing a t-shirt with a huge American flag. I was very, very influenced by American culture, not only the music, the cars, the motorcycles, the look, and the culture itself. And I knew since I was 15, 16 years old that I want to live here. And I made it happen.
That's crazy. How old are you? What year were you born?
I'm 51 right now. I was born
51.
on February 24th, 1975. I'm
Ha-
51. I just turned 51 1 week ago.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I just turned
Thank
61.
you.
I'm not exactly 10 years in January. Um,
Man, you look younger than me.
no, I have a hat on. No, it's still. I've been salt and pepper for since then. What was I gonna say about that? 65. So I knew that in high school. By the time I hit high school, I knew that I wanted to go to Germany. Isn't that
Hmm.
crazy? And
Yeah,
so
it is. Means
when our parents, I'm second generation American, um, my parents did not allow us to speak Spanish. So I never learned how to speak Spanish until, a little more, not too long ago when I had a girlfriend from South America. So then you have to learn how to speak Spanish. You want that
Yeah, they
you want that
speak
shit to
Spanish
work.
very fast.
And but so I took German in high school, and so by the time I got to Germany, I could converse. I knew how to speak German. Um, because again, that's another thing about these people who make things happen. We're making things happen, and you said it, you were gonna do it, and you're sitting in Nashville. You know, I lived in Germany for 10 years. You know, I
You
went
knew how you do it. You knew how you want it, and you make it happen.
I went everywhere. I loved it. I miss Europe. Anywhere on a plane or on a train in an hour, you're in a different country, and that's kind of cool. Anyway, so man, that's pretty big. So when did you get your first gig as your friends and you, and where was it at? And have you been back there since?
Uh, this is part of the documentary, and actually, we went there and filmed it. My very first gig was in the basement of my uncle, and for 20, 25 people, something like that. We didn't want to play open doors because we were unconfident of how people are gonna react about our music. So my very first gig was like 25, 30 people for friends my uncle's basement. And it turned out so the people loved it. We were playing like hours and a half that actually 3 weeks later, we got hired for a bar in my hometown.
Wow.
And because my hometown, there is no theaters, there is nothing. The only thing, not too many things to do. The whole venue was packed. I'm talking about probably 250,
Oh my
300 people.
gosh.
It's my very first gig, and it was we were playing originals and some American covers too, and it was amazing. Right now, the bar doesn't exist anymore, but the basement of my uncle it looks the same that 30 years ago, and we filmed it and we put it on the movie.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't want to watch your documentary because I didn't want to ask questions that were, but I was like, I'm lining them up right from where your
Well, the
documentary is.
documentary is not out yet. The documentary is only in the festivals
Oh,
circuit.
okay,
And
okay.
private screening. We did a private screening in Nashville, another in Austin, and another in Spain. And yes, we won an award right now as the best documentary for the Austin Revolution Film Festival.
Oh,
So the
nice.
only way that the people can watch the documentary is on festivals or private screening. By the end of the year, we will start pitching the digital platforms.
There you go. Okay, I didn't want anyone to look, so I didn't want to tell you offend you, but I didn't watch it. So that's good that it's not out yet. I didn't even want to look for it because I would want to watch it. I saw the trailer and I'm like, oh shoot, that's a very catchy trailer, dude. Just the trailer alone is
Thank you.
is catchy as heck. Um, yeah, I was just had a screenplay about the life of Doug Somm, the biopic of Doug Somm at the Austin Film Festival at the end of the year, beginning of this year, somewhere around there.
Yes.
And it was a finalist where I had to like send somebody down there to represent. We didn't win, but we got there. We got to the top, 4 or 5. That's in in that
Great.
place.
We,
That's pretty
we, we
good.
just applied to that festival too.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty fun,
We
man.
want there are three main Austin film festivals. The South by Southwest
Yep.
that become to be more like a Hollywood thing right now. Is not for independent filmmakers. Then
Right.
we have Austin Film Revolution that we won the best international documentary, and then there's the other one that you say is Austin Film Festival.
Right.
That is at the end of the year.
Right. So that's the one that we were in. I think it was November.
That's a pretty good one. All of them are good.
Um. So yeah, but I haven't submitted anywhere else, and we have tons of screenplays that I've written that are award winning. I've went all over the freaking world. I just need money to get them produced. Don't we all? Um. So the first concert you saw. Okay, so once you became playing, did your influences change a little bit? How did you start getting gearing towards a heavier sound? Because obviously you don't play Beach Boys music now.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Yeah, in every album or single that I put out, there is a new influence. I'm like a sponge. So America has a very defined sound. It just depends on the city of the or the state.
Hmm.
So definitely at the beginning, I was playing American rock and roll without being in America. So I was playing more like the music that I was listening on albums. Then I was living 3 years in Mexico, so start putting more Hispanic touch in my
Mm.
songs. Then after 9 years in Texas, I put a lot of Texas blues rock by ZZ Top and
Yeah.
Johnny Winter. Like a lot of
Stevie Ray.
on my album. And now that I'm living in Nashville, we are recording a new album, and this new album has a lot of country. It's still rock, but it has a lot of country influence because I go every week. I go to see bands in Nashville, and there are great country rock bands, honky tonk bands, and I'm melting all that experience and all the different cultures in my songs. Sometimes the songs are bilingual in English and Spanish. So I'm trying to put all my trip, all my journey in my music.
Man, I should hook you up with Stephanie. Stephanie to she just released her new album too, and it literally that came out last week.
Yeah, yeah. I would
Um,
love to meet her. Definitely, we need to
and
get together.
do put some mariachi into your hello
I
mariachi
love
soul.
mariachi. I lived 3 years in Mexico, and I was very impressed about the mariachis. One of the best experience that I have in music. I was invited to a penthouse to a party.
Mm-hmm.
So we were, Mexican and Spaniard, we party hard. So we were partying hard, and the owner of the penthouse he called a mariachi band. I'm talking about like 25 mariachis came to the penthouse, and they surrendered out with the brass, with the guitarrones,
Isn't it crazy?
and they start playing for us. It was unbelievable. It was like
Yeah,
3D, and the vocals, the lyrics. I mean, I really really like mariachi music.
yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean,
It's very powerful.
I'm so lucky. One of the guys that my first ever song that was done and published and released was a song that had Bobby Flores. You lived in Austin for a minute, so Bobby Flores, who's
Hmm.
recently passed away, he was on it. Henry Gomez, who just got a Grammy for something that about he was on Selena's last album, and he's a mariachi and he does strings, violin. So he did this string arrangement for my song, and his story, his episode's coming up pretty soon. I think next month maybe. His interview was just amazing. It's just these old guys, man, that tell you
Yeah.
how they did it, and it's just
And it's
freaking
a cool stories and very powerful music. Yeah.
amazing. Ernie Darwa, for the drummer
Yeah.
for the Tornadoes,
I
he
know him personally.
do you? Oh, so you know his story
Yeah.
that he, the grew up behind a bar. His dance.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's heavy, dude.
I know
That's
Ernie. He's a great guy, great drummer. He lives in Austin for a while.
his episode's coming out. Not this one, but the next one. The one coming
Good.
up now is Robert LaRoche. I don't know if you know who Robert LaRoche is. He's Nashville and Austin and East Coast, Massachusetts, I think, something like that. He plays with
Maybe.
Patricia Vaughn a lot. He plays with Patricia Vaughn. Um,
Yeah, I know Patricia. She was playing in my life. We are very good friends. She played with me in the last concert that I did in Austin.
mm,
I moved to Nashville, and we put in the documentaries called Blue Buffaloes Playing with Friends, and one
hmm
of the artists was Patricia Vaughn.
She she and I are really good friends. She started with my company. She was in my very first film. She's the star of my very first film that I wrote and directed. Which is cool because we did a screening together, and she was like, "Thank you for giving me my first leading role," and I was like, "Holy crow!"
Oh,
You know what I mean? It was heavy, dude.
that's
It almost made me
beautiful. And
cry.
so good. First of all, she's a great person,
Yeah.
and second, a great artist.
Yeah, she's actually hangs on my wall right there. I have Patricia there, Doug Som here, and then the Mavericks and Raul Malo on top of that. Those are my three people that watch me do my work and watch me interview you cats.
Here you have
Willie and Waylon. Who is that?
Nelson and Clint
Oh,
Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. I only see half his face. Clint. Okay, I saw Willie. Um, yeah, and then I have an autographed BB King over there, dude. I saw him in San Antonio, center stage, first row, bro. First row for BB
That's
King,
badass,
and
man.
this was like he was sick, he was sneezing and shit, and I didn't give a damn, And I actually had him sign my poster, and I had a blues book that I had other artists sign. I have since lost that book, but I'm sure somebody has made some money off of it. Anyways, what was your first album that you put out? How did that come out? How did that get together? How did you scrape the money to put that together?
The first album that I put out, it was with my band, with my actually band. I mean, when I was in my first band in my small town, we put cassettes out. I
Oh
don't call it an
yeah.
album. Yeah, we put cassettes and we were selling in the high school for friends. But actually, my really first album was "Quien Dijo Miedo," Who Say Fear, and it was a full album in Spanish, October 15, 2009, and it was at the beginning it was a demo. We were recording songs and we were sending to the record labels in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the labels they rejected it because it was rock and roll in
Mm.
Spain those days, and still today it was a very pop. Mostly the market is pop music,
Mm.
so they didn't want to. But we decided to put it ourselves, even if it was, so I sold my track to actually pay in the manufacturing the CDs and the cover and everything, and it was kind of good because we did a gig in Madrid, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a good gig, like 300-400 people, and we sold a lot of CDs. So
Nice.
and it came out pretty well, and I still playing some of the songs live, and one of the songs is in the Mayans TV show. So it was my first album.
That's
Sound
pretty
is not
good.
great. It's kind of raw and wild, but I think that was to make the album real.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. When you have success like that, when you come out of the gate, that's a pretty good feeling. Um, Michael Guerra, who our co-founder, Michael. Again, he played with the Mavericks and all that, but we had an album that we put out that song I was telling you, and we actually it was just me and him, and like you, it was just us doing it, and we took it to 28 in Texas and like 34 nationally in the Roots report, dude. So we got that high, just us, and we were up there with like ZZ
Mhm.
Top and all the people that we love, so that's a pretty cool feeling to have that happen and come out of the gate like that. We won Band of the
Absolutely.
Year for at the Fox Music USA, and they didn't know what to do with us. Michael plays accordion, and so, but we were like trying to make the accordion into rock, more of a rock thing,
Mhm.
and they didn't know what to do with us, so they just put us in with the Tejano people, and then we won, and those people were really, really mad that we because first number one it was in Houston, so we were from San Antonio, we were usurpers, we came out from somewhere else, and all those
Yeah.
cats have been winning it year after year after year, and then we came in and swooped them, and yeah, they weren't happy.
San Antonio has a great music scene. I love San Antonio. I play the halftime of the San Antonio Spurs game. I see you have.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
playing the halftime of the San. It was amazing. We were playing with the Silver Dancers and at the stadium. In those days, it was the AT&T Stadium. Now
sure.
it's a different.
Frost Bank, I
And
think.
I played a couple of times in San Antonio. I really like the scene, like and actually really like the bilingual aspect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And not too long ago, last year, I guess it was last year already. In the first season, I interviewed Shandon Salm, Doug's son, Shandon, and
Hmm.
we were talking about circles and these musical circles that we were all involved in. Already, we're connected, in a couple of ways. Patricia, Skunk, and Skunk has been in my films, Patricia's been in my films, and they're both musicians. You know what I'm saying? This is,
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
know,
know them. I know Scam very well.
and it's just it's. And I just interviewed Skunk last week, and we talked about you a little bit, so you're gonna have to hear that
Oh,
one.
good. Good.
um,
He's a
uh,
good guy. I love the Skunk. We were playing together for a while, and he's fun, and he's a great guitar player
yeah,
and hard worker.
he's really well. It's crazy is the circle of Skunk and I. I introduced him to Kimberly Freeman, who introduced him to Tragan guitars.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's big circle that we live in. And now I'm going to hook you up with Stephanie because I think you two would really hit it off.
That
Y'all's
would be awesome.
vision is just, crazy. And she lives there in Nashville. So she does all these crazy
Fantastic.
retreats, dude. She's going to like in Egypt and she does all and into the desert Mexico. She's doing, oh my God, she's doing a concert this year in the caves of Tenochtitlan, in some pyramids. She's doing a show in the pyramids of Tenochtitlan or something.
Wow,
Yeah, that's like coming
that's
up for
amazing.
her. And I'm like, what? Her last gig, she sold out 3 nights at wherever she plays in San Miguel de Allende. I think that's where she
Again,
stays.
yeah, a beautiful town. Yeah.
So she's been selling them out, man, over there. So yeah, I'll definitely send y'all an email together and introduce you. Um, so let me ask you this: you've been on stage now for a minute. Uh, when did you realize that your story and the stories that you tell matter?
Oh, that's a very good question. I didn't realize it till we put the documentary out in the private screenings and the festivals.
Mm.
I was very afraid and very means the director and the company Penny Rock Production, the director Budro Partida, and the producer John Yu, and also the co-producer L.A. Lloyd. They were the ones that were pushing the story like your story matters. We need to tell your story. I was a little bit unconfident because I'm not a huge successful. It means I have music on TV. I play in festivals. I have a documentary out. I consider myself a successful musician, but I'm not a famous huge guy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if my story matters.
Yeah.
However, when I started on the big screen and the feedback of the people, especially another musician, they wrote me and they say, "I'm inspired by your story." And the press is being crazy with us, the festival. So looks like that the documentary is inspiring people. That was my main goal, and that's when I realized, okay, this story is better than I thought. It's the director and the producer, the director Boudreaux and the producer Lloyd, they had it very clear. For me, it took a while to. I have the imposter syndrome all the time.
I understand. I get it. Because for me, this, what I'm doing, I have those things in my head. But I just put out a post before we came on. I just got my stats for last month. And I think 64 downloads in that month, but it jumped 1,837%, something like that. And all the numbers are just shooting upwards. So what it's reflecting is that people are going back and looking at the back catalog, the earlier shows, and I've always intended to, you know, every show is going to build on the other and the next, and and you guys have been so great in coming on, and again the whole thing behind it in 20 years. When you retire, someone's going to pull this interview up and say, how did he do it? What did he do? Someone from Spain, someone from your little town is going to find this and go,
Yeah,
"Oh, I know who this cat is." You know,
that's beautiful.
that's what it's all about. And I don't try not to get emotional. I'm a filmmaker, so I have my emotions are right there,
Well,
very level.
that's good. We need emotions in this world.
And I understand what your filmmakers were saying because your story is compelling. You know, it's super compelling, and you have a look about you that you can push that story. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's everything. It's the whole package. It's the whole thing. Um, so yeah, that moment when you realize that it mattered is something, because that all just leads up to our final Cummins questions, which is about legacy, and so let me ask you this: in your work, and I think I've already know because it's this documentary, but what's a chance that you've taken, a risk that you've taken in your career, that you're like, I don't know if I should do this, but I'm gonna do it, and it panned out for you?
Uh,
I guess this documentary.
that's a tough question. In this business, sometimes you have to dance with the devil,
Yep.
and I was trying to avoid the devil of my life. And music industry is a mean industry. It's a
Yep.
tough. And music is fantastic. One thing is music, and different thing is music industry.
Yep.
So I never want to lose the control of my music, of the documentary, of my art, of myself. And I had the opportunity to shake the devil's hand and being bigger and put more money in my pocket. But that I want to keep. That would require losing myself. And the only thing
Exactly.
that I don't want to do is losing myself, because it's the only place that you can go when you are down. If you are proud of yourself and happy with yourself, you're always going to be good. And no matter the circumstance. And I'm very committed with that. So I'm not craving fame. I'm not craving being millionaire, but I'm craving reaching the next level, because I think we deserve it, and because I want to help other people with my music and with our
Exactly.
documentary. And so yes, I'm willing to reach the next level, and I'm willing to do certain deals, but I'm never gonna sell my soul ever.
Yeah.
I never did it, and I never gonna do it.
Okay, so when you're in the studio, I've done a couple of songs. I've written a ton of songs. I have a production company with BMI, hundreds of songs registered with them. When you're in the studio, though, when do you know that it's done? When do you know that, you know,
That's a tough
it
question.
is?
I'm a perfectionist, but I try to get the best of myself in the first point, and the engineer, the producer, which I produce myself, and the
Right.
musician. So, um, it, mixing, you can be mixing forever, but
Jesus.
I hit a point that there is a point when I say, okay, this is good enough. This is not perfect, but it sounds natural, and it still sounds good enough. I'm a perfectionist, but I'm not obsessed that it has to be more robotic.
Hmm.
I don't mind if it has some small mistakes and some disadjustments, because that's how the human beings are. So it's a difficult question to answer. When do you think it's done? But I normally put myself a deadline, because I know if I don't do it, even if I don't have it, like for a record label or whatever, I say, okay,
Right.
I have to finish this by April 1st, for example. That's the day that I say this is done.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I work, for example, I work a lot with my guitar player in Spain, Verdi, which is almost is also a perfectionist too, even more than me. And sometimes you need to find. It's very difficult to find. I want to sound as best as I can, but I want to sound human too. And I always put a deadline, and I say, okay, we need to stop. We whatever we have, if it's good enough, we put it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many bells and whistles you can keep doing. You keep going. Friends, oh, let me call in. Um, so yeah, it's a difficult question. There's so many different answers too. It's pretty amazing. Um, so what do you hope people feel when they hear your music? And is there something in particular that you've done that you wish more people knew about, other than the documentary?
Well, my first album in English is called Animal. I recorded in 2017, and I didn't have a record label, management, booking agent, or neither money to put it out. So I just record the album and manufacturing 1,000 CDs, and put it on Spotify. And I'm very proud about that work, not only because the quality of the music and the songs that I think they are great. It is because it was very difficult for me to write an album in English, a
Mm.
full album in English. It was all my life I was writing in Spanish, and my English isn't good yet. And those days was even more difficult. So I wish when the people listen that album can understand all the struggles that I have to go through to record that album in English
Right.
and write it in English,
Yeah.
and also with my accent, etc. And I wish that album has mm, more promotion, and the people can understand that that album is a reflection of a journey, is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reflection of mixing cultures, is the reflection of the American dream influencing people in Europe.
Yeah.
It is the blend of many flavors in that album, and I wish one day I have the way to make it more popular or more reachable for the people.
Maybe reissue it. Maybe some jazz it up.
I just remixed it for I remixed the album for the documentary,
Oh,
and I'm thinking and maybe probably I'm gonna put the soundtrack of the documentary out when the documentary will be on available on platforms, and maybe that's the right moment to put that songs in the soundtrack
can I can
out.
can I throw an idea at you?
Yes.
So my first novel is an Audible exclusive. Why don't you do an Audible thing explaining the songs and then play the song? Explain the
That's a
next
great
song,
idea
play the
indeed.
song, and yeah, that's just another stream,
Yeah,
another avenue that you can take.
yeah.
Um,
And also, I think it's a great idea because it's an excellent idea because every song in that album is a reflection of my journey.
yeah,
So every song has a story behind why I wrote that song. I didn't write the songs just because I wrote this song. It's
exactly.
because actually the first song is called "The Rollers Travel." Is the title of the documentary "Took the Rollers Travel."
The
So
road struck.
it's the reflection and the mirror or a huge journey, and every song has a different story.
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing because your voice your English is fine. It's your voice is compelling. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
explaining each story and put some emotion behind it. And my reader was actually from my first novel. My first novel is historical fiction. Took me like 10 years of research and about 6 years to write it. And I got a reader. The guy who read it is well, he was the 2021, I guess it was, Audible Award winner for the best historic fiction narrator of all narration of Audible of books. Not Audible, just all narration of books. And he's the one
Mhm.
that did my novel. And man, it's a whole nother thing. It's a different cover. You know what I'm saying? You can. It's so I don't know, something to think about. Audible, a new
Yeah, I
stream.
think it's a great idea. I will think about it. Yeah.
Um, don't want to keep it too much longer. And let me ask you this: we've been talking about your career, and you've been thinking about it a lot because of your documentary. And um, when did you realize the word legacy? Have I asked you this? No, I haven't asked you this. When did you realize the word legacy, and what does it mean to you now?
What do you mean with the world legacy of
The word, like, when did you realize what that word means, and it's reflecting on your career now. What does legacy mean to you now? Is it your body of work? Is it what is it legacy you wish to leave?
well, uh, I'm honestly I would like to help others.
Yeah,
I would like to help others. First of all, with my music, because people are working a lot, and sometimes music is the only way that they have to decompress.
yeah,
And we are musicians, we are servers. It took me a while to understand we are servers.
yeah,
At the beginning, I thought it was about me. People need to go to my show and clap and say how good I am.
yeah,
And then I understood that it's about them. It's about me serving them and doing a show for them, make them happy and having a great time. So with my music, I would like to keep helping others to having a good time, and or maybe the songs that can inspire them to other things. And with the documentary, the legacy that I would like to leave is it is possible. Dream big, work hard. Don't sell yourself. Don't sell your soul. Take the road less travel. Even it's gonna be tougher, it's gonna be longer, but the reward is gonna taste it's 10 times better. So don't take the easy path. Normally, the easy path won't take you to a nice place. And I would like to say that I want to the world see how difficult is the music business, so maybe they can understand us better.
Yeah.
So that's several things that I would like to leave with the documentary, with my music.
Well, that's freaking fantastic, and I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I'm gonna take a picture of the screen. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
That I'm gonna take like a. We got it there.
I should have smiled. Again, thank you for coming on, and
Thank you so much.
I will make sure to let you know when this pops out, and we'll talk about that project, man, and see if we can get rolling.
Yes.
I'll talk with Brittany next, and then Jack will be last. The last person I talk to will be Jack about the whole thing. But so far,
Once you're ready, I can start with people. And if you don't mind to send me the link of your social media or the podcast, so when I post the picture today, I can start tagging you.
Oh yeah, of course, no problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, brother. God bless you.
Take
God
care.
bless
Be
rock and
safe.
roll.
God bless rock and roll. Bye-bye.
Green Chili Chisme is a production of DB Media Entertainment, LLC. If you're digging the stories, give us a like or pass us to your friends the way you used to pass the J. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, pretty much anywhere you listen to the pods. Thanks for riding with us, supporting these voices, and keeping the chisme alive. We'll see you next time.